it's all yours.
Okay, thank you. So we'll call this meeting of the Licensing and Hearing Committees to order. Welcome everyone to our Electronic Licensing and Hearings Committee meeting. Due to the COVID-19 pandemic, the committee is practicing physical distancing, and we are all participating electronically. In an attempt to speed things up, we have assigned a mover and seconder. I will read these out. I will then state the results of the vote. I would now like to remind all delegations, in fact, we don't have any, but we're waiting for some guidance for participation in today's meeting. Please leave your video and camera turned off and your microphone and audio muted until you are called upon to speak. If you conduct yourself in any of the following manners, it will result in an immediate removal from the meeting, interrupting councillors, staff, or other delegations, derogatory statements about councillors, staff, or others, turning your camera on at inappropriate times, and hate speech or defamatory comments. So let's call this meeting to order. My name is Jeff Lorentz. I'm the new chair of Licensing and Hearings Committee. So first is declarations of independence. Are there any declarations? No, see none. No registered delegations at this time. We're still waiting to see if they will show up. Is that correct, Mr. Clerk?
Yes, that's correct. We still don't see them in the meeting room.
Okay.
Oh, so sorry, I'm being corrected that Peter Neufeld is just joining us now.
Okay. Just Peter?
Yes, just Peter at this point.
Do we have to check attendance, Jeff, or does that not matter for the committee?
Wow. All of the committee is here.
Oh, okay.
Do we need to call roll call or?
No, I didn't know that. Sorry.
Yeah. I think we're unanimous on the committee side.
Thank you.
We don't need to call roll call, right, Tim?
No, that's okay. I can see everybody on my screen.
Perfect. And I would suggest for questions, you just raise your hand instead of going to the icons. I upgraded my Zoom today, and I don't know what I'm going to find when I start clicking the buttons. So maybe that would make it a lot easier. Peter, I see that you're here. Is anyone else coming from the Alliance? Do you know?
I was under the impression that Bill would be and Terry also, but yeah, I'm here. How are you, Jeff? I haven't talked to you in a while.
Yeah, it's like old home week. I'm doing just fine, thanks. How about you?
I'm good. As good as can be.
Excellent. Well, we were proceeding already, so why don't you start, and maybe if these guys show up, we can just plug them in as we go, and they can add to whatever you'd like to say. Are you good with that?
Sure.
Okay. Sure, go ahead then.
And you're putting me on the spot. I'm not sure what I'm supposed to say here.
We're dealing with the accessibility funds dispersal plans, and I wonder if you have any comments on that.
What was on the email that I received, I thought that was what we agreed upon. I think it's good. I would have liked to see a little more of the a little more money for the calls, subsidy on the calls, but I understand that there's limited funds and it is what it is. But with the rest, I agree with totally. Spoken with our operator and plus some of the other guys, and they're more than happy with the $10,000 offset for replacement vehicles. I think the discussion we had in regards to the timing of the replacements, we had Tom, you had a list of when the bands should be replaced, or roughly an idea of when they're going to be replaced. And I think everything was good. I think it fit well into the criteria.
Okay, good. Excellent. Okay. Any questions of delegation from the committee? No, it seems, in my view, I think it's...
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
Mr. Neufeld might also have some comments on the tariff report. Well, I don't know for sure. That's where the association had actually made a request for an increase in the tariffs. And so if Bill Chester and Terry Kirby don't arrive, I don't know whether or not they have given any authority to Mr. Neufeld to speak on behalf of the Alliance with respect to that.
Okay.
I just got off the phone with Bill, and he assured me that he would be here. I'm surprised he's not.
Okay. So the clerk has raised the issue about tariffs. You have anything you want to add?
No, they're the ones who raised the amounts. I'll be perfectly honest with you. I refrained to enter that discussion just because I thought it was bad timing. But when I saw the comparisons, I see that we are on the low end of the scale as far as rates are concerned.
Okay. Yeah, so I think this increase would put you kind of in the middle of the pack.
Yes, sir.
Okay, very good. So I don't know if we should wait to hear from the other delegations or maybe we should just move forward. Does that make sense? Okay, all right.
I would
So-
just move on.
Yeah, okay. So no questions from committee? Any of the staff? Report seems pretty complete. Councillor Erb?
I do have a question, Mr. Chair. So are these recommendations, and I know Ms. Fletcher provided some information at the beginning, are these usually initiated by staff or is this industry driven? This is my first meeting, and so
Sure.
general question.
So the tariffs happen one of two ways. It either can come as a request from the industry, or when we do a bylaw review of some kind, we may modify the tariffs at that point in time, just because we've done some review. However, in the past, it's generally been driven by the industry themselves based on factors that they see. Certainly in our comparison of the tariff information that we receive from other municipalities, it would appear that we're lagging behind from where we were even in 2016, 17, which was the last major bylaw review that was taken.
Mm-hmm. Okay,
Okay.
thank you. Thank you.
Anything else, Jim? No?
No, thank you.
Okay, then we'll move to the question, and I'll just read the recommendations. That the Regional Municipality of Waterloo approve a 5-year program as outlined in Report PDL-CAS-20-15, January 19, 2021, to disperse accessibility funds collected by the region as follows. Taxi Scrip program, $40,000 a year. Vehicle conversion project, $10,000 per vehicle for a total of $40,000. And fare subsidy program, $2 a trip subsidy for a maximum of $80,000 a year, dependent upon the funds available. And it's moved by Councillor Clark and seconded by Councillor Armstrong. Any discussion on that? All in favor then? I'm in favor as well. That's carried. Okay, so the next issue is the taxi fare increase. Anything you want to add to that, Ms. Fletcher or Tom? No?
I do see that another person has arrived in the meeting room. It's Majid Faisal.
Okay. And he's part of the Alliance?
Yes.
Okay.
And I don't know if Bill Chester might be with him.
Okay.
Can you hear me, Jeff?
Yes. Yes, I can hear you. Peter.
Yeah, Terry Kirby just phoned me. He's trying to get in. He asked if you could give him an invite.
Okay.
They're all trying there. I guess they're having some difficulty getting in. That was the phone call I just received, was from Terry.
I guess you don't do this every day like we do, huh?
No, not at all.
Can you hear us now?
Majid, yeah.
This
Can't
is on,
see you, Bill.
it's Bill.
Oh, Bill, okay.
How you doing?
Good. Bill, how are you doing?
Very good, very good.
Good. Okay, so we just approved the first recommendation. And I'm wondering if you had any comments or any concerns.
No, we've discussed it over quite a bit of time. We're happy with it.
Okay,
Thank you.
excellent, good. And now we're on to the next is the fare increase. Same thing? Bill? I may take that as a yes to both. There you go.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
You hear me now? Yes.
Yes, I do. Yeah. Okay, excellent. Okay, any questions on that to staff? The delegations? Okay, so let's move forward then. The recommendation is that the Region of Waterloo amend the taxi fares in bylaw 16-044, a bylaw to license, regulate, and brokers, owners, and drivers of taxi cabs as follows. A, increase the per kilometer rate from $2.10 to $2.30, and B, increase the waiting per hour rate from $31.20 to $35 an hour. And that is moved by Councillor Erb and seconded by Chair Redmond. Any discussion from committee? All in favor then? I'm in favor as well. That's carried unanimously. So I don't think there is any other business, but I will ask the clerk, do we have anything else?
I would like to raise another item, Mr. Chair.
Okay, go ahead.
I understand the bylaw restricting the placement of election signs on regional property was reviewed 4 or 5 years ago, I think. And I'm wondering if there would be, what the process would be to look at that again with the thought of perhaps not allowing signs to be on regional right-of-ways and property.
Okay, so I think there's a mandate provincially and federally that we have to do that, but I'm not sure. But so you're more concerned about municipal, or are you talking about all levels of government or for all signs?
Well, as I understand it, the cities of Kitchener and Waterloo, now I'm not sure about Cambridge, their bylaw does not permit it on any municipal right-of-ways. And so I was just automatically assuming that the regional will be able to do the same thing, but I stand to be corrected with that question of yours. I don't know.
I think we should hear from the clerk, but I would say in the past, former Chair Sealing was always worried about suppression of people's rights to be able to, to express that because of the lower tiers didn't allow it. So I'll leave it up to the clerk. She's more experienced at this than I am, for sure. Ms. Fletcher?
So staff could bring back a report with respect to, what's currently within the sign bylaw with respect to election signs. Certainly in the past, one of the things that has always been of a concern is that we have the ability as a municipality to regulate, not necessarily prohibit. So there is some legal, work that would also be with respect to that if you wanted to do a complete elimination of signs on regional roadways. So I will certainly reach out to Deborah Arnold and ask her to refresh her memory as well with respect to election signs and the prohibition of signs, and whether there's any new case law with respect to that. And we can certainly forward this item to another meeting in the near future.
Okay. Chair Redmond?
Thank you, Chair Lorentz. I would just really support looking into this. And Chris, I'm sure you're going to do this with Deborah, but even if we can't prohibit them, sort of what the parameters are on the regulation of them. I think we're at a sweet spot right now. Nobody's in an election, and it sort of takes the temperature down in the conversation. So I would be really interested if we have a window of opportunity to look at what kind of parameters we could set. I think my recollection is that we can't totally prohibit them, but I would be really interested to know what we actually could do.
Right. And in the last election, just for your information, in the last election, we had done a review in about 2017, just ahead of the last provincial and municipal elections. And so, certainly we had increased substantially the amount of distance that's required away from intersections, as well as how far apart signs need to be from where we had been previously. So there had been quite a substantial increase in the amount of distance between signs from what had been there before. But there's no reason why we can't look at it again and see if we want to make further changes at this point in time.
So is the legislation different for different levels of government, like the federal government or provincial?
No,
Or do
so
we have the right-
we've had fairly good compliance with provincial and federal individuals because we hold sign clinics with them. So they've been, yes, there's always controversy with respect to election signs. That's not new. But we certainly have had increased compliance over time. And actually, the last round of signs changes that we made were well supported by the various provincial and federal parties with respect to where we're going with the sign bylaw, because previously, there was no rules around how many in an intersection with respect to particular signs, and
Right.
you could dominate a corner and all those kinds of things, right? So there was improvements made last time that took us a distance, but we maybe could go a distance further. And there are some municipalities who have outright said no signs. And so, whether their bylaws have not been challenged or not, I mean, that's a question, but it's certainly something that we can look into.
Well, I could support that. I've never put a sign on the right of way. It's always been on private properties close to the right of way. So
Yeah, well,
when do you
thank
think
you.
that can come back? Sorry, Chris, when do you think that you would have that information back to us?
Do you want it before or after I retire?
I knew that was coming.
I'll let you- it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. I was just wondering about the timing. That could be left up to you.
We have another matter that we want to bring to committee as well. So we can maybe have some discussion, I would say either towards the end of February or the first part of March on both the Retail Business Holidays Act and election signs. And we'll look for a meeting at that point in time and see what work we need to do to deal with both of those issues at that meeting,
That'd be
or at
great.
least start down a path.
Yeah, Councillor Herb, did you want to add something else?
No, I just wanted to say earlier, I think this is the right time to do it because we aren't, there's no election looking over our shoulders. And so it takes some of the emotion out of it. And I think signs on public property are a plight to the appearance of our communities. And I would like to see what we can do to possibly, if not eliminate them, reduce them significantly. I think there's many, many unfair advantages to people who want to be candidates for the first time in terms of expense, finding locations, just a number of reasons for that. And so many of them end up when the election is over and don't get taken down. And when they're down, they end up in the landfill site. So I'm anxious to review the bylaw.
Okay, sounds good to me. Very good. Anything else? Okay, then I think we can go. Moved by Councillor Armstrong and seconded by Councillor Clark that we adjourn. All in favor? Excellent. Thank you very much. We'll see you all tomorrow.
What's tomorrow? What's tomorrow?
And Jeff,
Yeah, thanks.
you guys.
All right, take care. Thank you.